back to episode number 48 of the SaaS landing page review show. On today's episode, we are reviewing Zymewire. Now, if you are a service provider in the biotech or pharma space, okay, be sure to go and check these guys out because they've basically created like a sales enhancement tool. Okay, so if you're looking to create more sales opportunities, okay, as a service provider, then go and check these guys out. Okay, if you're in the biotech or pharma industry. Okay, so without further ado, let's start going through this and start going through the page. So first of all, focusing on the headline as always. So let me just read this out. So catalyze your sales. Okay, so straight away, something that I would say about this type of headline is, and again, this is all feedback. I feel like I've got to mention this in some of the episodes because I feel like when I'm giving this feedback, I'm trying to get to the point as quick as possible. Okay, I'm a very straight to the point person. I'm not fluffy. So if it comes across like I'm being mean, I'm not being mean. It's just feedback. Okay. So something that I would say about this headline is it's far too generic. Okay. It's very, very generic. If I am a service provider, in the biotech and pharma space, that's quite a niche. That's actually, if you said that in your headline, it would definitely get that person's attention. But if you just say, catalyze your sales, that could literally be for anyone in the business world, business space, right? And I think something that founders kind of just forget when they're doing their marketing campaigns and when they're thinking about designing a landing page is they just forget the aspect of simplicity. A lot of founders, they want to use big fancy words and they want to, catalyze your sales. And you've got to remember at the end of the day, another human is going to be reading this. Your ideal potential prospects, they are just humans. Exactly. There are people exactly like you. It's peer to peer, right? You're not talking to robots. So, the idea is that your headline should really speak to that person. They should read that headline, a service provider, they should read that headline and be like, okay, I need to keep on reading. They just get me, right? The headline is, really about number one, getting the attention of the end user, okay, kind of getting them to listen up and really pay attention, but also to kind of create that sense of relatability, to get that person to understand that you understand their situation, you understand the problems that they're going through, okay? And it's really kind of it acts as like a trust builder, right? Because the thing is, when you use generic headlines like this, that's not going to mean anything to them, right? Because it's just very generic, right? So an example of a headline that you could use here would be something along the lines of, if I use the biotech example, so, biotech service provider, question mark, struggling to create new sales opportunities with potential prospects. Okay. Now, to kind of walk you through the framework of kind of why I structure headlines like this, what we're first of all doing in the first kind of in the part that's highlighted in red is we're first of all getting the attention of the end user, in this case, either a pharma or biotech service provider. Okay. And obviously, getting the attention is kind of the first main focus. And we're then introducing the problem in the second half of the headline, okay? And the reason why we kind of introduce the problem with a question mark, in the second half of the headline is because we want to kind of agitate them a little bit. Okay, the idea behind that is by introducing the problem, by stating the problem, okay? And this is why market research is so important. By really kind of pressing on that problem, it kind of agitates them, okay? It gets them to keep on reading. It gets them to think about this problem that they're experiencing in their business, as a pharma or biotech service provider, okay? And that's the idea of the headline. It's not to use, big fancy words and not to be generic. The idea of a headline is to just be very, very direct, okay? Be very, very, very direct. First of all, get the attention of the end user. Just literally, call them out. Just literally state who they are in a question mark, okay, in a question, and then follow it by stating the problem that they're experiencing, okay? And what that does is, first of all, it gets the attention and then it agitates the problem, okay? Now, something that I actually noticed that I wanted to mention, I think it was further down the page. Yeah, it was here. So I've actually gone through this and I've noticed that, the way that you've currently got this kind of contact form structured is they enter their email and then, you've got to then get back to them. And it's that kind of, I always say this to SaaS founders, you want to just remove as much friction from the sales process as possible. Okay. So, when you have like the whole like request a demo kind of thing, that all that's doing is adding friction, right? Because they've got to send in a request, you've got to get back to them. That's probably going to take 24, 48 hours, and then you've got to hope that they reply to that email, and then you've got to book a time, and it adds so much friction, so much unneeded crap, basically, that that you could very kind of easily get rid of. So what I would recommend is, first of all, I'd probably move this form up, okay? But instead of them like requesting a call, what you should do is actually get them to book a time in one of your business development managers' calendars. Okay, it massively simplifies like the kind of booking demo process. Okay, because when they've got to request the demo, that entire process, it takes a long time, and you've got to hope that once you reply to the email, that they reply again, and it's just a constant cycle of, whereas you could very much simplify this and just get them to book a time in your calendar. Okay. It cuts so much fat out of the sales process. Okay. Now, one more thing as well is I noticed that you had some written testimonials here. What I would do is I would turn these written testimonials into video style testimonials. Okay. Video, it's just so much more believable. When people can see real, especially, if they're in the same industry, and, it kind of, video really creates that sense of relatability. People can see themselves as these people in the videos. When a service provider hits your page and they're struggling with this problem, and they then see that, Barry from a biotech, service provider company has solved this problem by using Zymewire, they can see themselves as Barry, and it really creates this sense of like I said, relatability, and they can see themselves as these people in the video testimonials. Okay, it has this like really profound effect, which you just can't really do with like traditional written testimonials. Okay, but guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will see all of you in tomorrow's episode for episode number 49. See you.